All right, Joe, tell us, why is I Want Your Love the standout track for you?
So I think it is one of those very rare tracks that is much longer than your average song, but I feel like I could happily listen to that for about 20 minutes. Just kind of the mainly the outro with the kind of guitar solos and the riffs and the horns. It's just this kind of culmination of just such joyful. Yeah, it's just joy, I think, generally. And I
Yeah.
think it's also one of the real perfect distillations of Nile Rodgers' guitar sound. And I'm not a guitar player, so I definitely can't get technical on this. But from what I can kind of glean, it sounds like he somehow plays lead and rhythm at the same time when he's playing, which is just an incredible kind of thing to be able to do. But yeah, as Chic songs go, I think it's that perfect distillation of a great pop song that you can dance to, or get people on the floor, is celebratory, but then just has this kind of incredible outro that really elevates it, I think. And that's that could be, like I say, 20 minutes long, and I'd happily just listen to that forever. Basically.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I think there is something that they're doing differently, especially on the back half of this album, than what my stereotypical idea of disco is in my head. So like when I think of my stereotype of that, it's obviously the Bee Gees. Oh, they're Aussies again. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
What's going on with this Australia connection?
Yeah.
But it's the Bee Gees, and for me, the Bee Gees, it's almost a little too cloying, because there's something it lacks a little bit of trust in the audience a little bit. It feels a little bit like I don't know if there's
Calculated, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But something like this takes disco from an angle that also leads into an instrumental side of it that I think is very sort of mature and kind of, there's something refined about it, in a way that I don't get from I don't get it from the Bee Gees. I'll just say it, like.
Yeah. It's interesting you say refined. This is something you touched upon in the intro, Michael, that they took a lot of their cues from Roxy Music. And I think that's, I think when you think of that, you maybe more often think of the visual element and the kind of their style and how they looked. But I think that kind of comes across musically as well. And yeah, it's something that I think there's I really wish I could remember who wrote this, but I remember reading something in a music magazine about 20 years ago that's always stayed with me, that says something, and I won't be able to remember it word for word, but it's basically saying like the best bands and artists inhabit their own universe.
Yeah.
And I had to be honest, I think it was written about the White Stripes, which are about as far away from Chic as you can possibly get. But
their own universe.
They are in their own universe, though, for sure.
They are in their own universe.
Yeah.
Jack is, at least. I don't know about Meg. But
Yes.
Meg was participating in it for a time.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. And I think that also is a similar concept to, again, I'm not a screenwriter, but my understanding is there is a concept in screenwriting that if you flesh out your characters and write your characters well enough, the audience should know what that character would do in a certain situation. And the example often given is what would that character do if somebody pushed them into a swimming pool? How would they react to that? And again, I'm going to try and desperately clutching to try and
there you go.
Bring it home. But I think, Chic have got a look and a sound which is kind of unmistakably them. I think a lot of that comes down to Nile Rodgers, and you sort of touched a little bit on Nile Rodgers' production work as well. And there's so many songs that once you know that Nile Rodgers had a hand in them, it's like, well, obviously that just his kind of fingerprints are all over
the Bowie,
that. So
the Bowie connection.
Yeah, like Let's Dance, and Sister Sledge, Diana Ross. Obviously, those are disco records anyway. But with a lot of great artists, it's a fully realized thing about their sound. But I think with Chic, it is fully realized about everything around them.
Disco, if I had to sort of like assign instrumentation to disco, I would kind of have a hard time doing it, because maybe that's also why, aside from the whole revolt against the genre that happened, is that like I'm not quite sure where it sits, aside from like the joy that you keep talking about feels like the thing that I feel is like maybe the hallmark of it. But when I listened to this album, At times it just sounds like funk. Like at
Yeah.
times it gets a little symphonic. I mean, I
Mhm.
think like what's the song about, like At Last I'm Free or something like that?
Yeah.
Although I will say this, lyrically, some of these songs, like At Last I Am Free, I can hardly see in front of me. Like I'm not quite sure what that means. But anyway,
Yeah.
what the point I was making
Fair,
is just
fair.
that
Okay.
it's
Mhm.
just that there is it's not just locked into one specific thing, and maybe that's because it's Nile Rodgers,
Yeah.
what he brought to it, and the way he sort of like heard things, the way he produced it. Like I had to remind myself it was that they were a disco band as I was listening to the album.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a song. Yeah, because "At Last I'm Free" is quite slow, but then there's I think it's actually strangely early in the album. A track called "Savoir Faire,"
Mm.
which is purely instrumental, and it's quite orchestral. There are loads of
Yeah.
strings all over it.
Mhm.
It's just sort of meandering. It's a bit like it's not quite a jam. It's structured,
Yeah.
but it's definitely not the kind of thing you would think of as disco at all. And I think that's really interesting as well. You bringing up the lyrics, yes, they're not going to win any awards for their lyrical content, and I think that might again be another reason why disco as a whole is dismissed a little bit as well,
Not as
because when you
literary.
kind of yeah, so when you kind of talk about the pantheon, I guess, of sorry, that's your word, isn't it? Pantheon, and I've just
That's
completely
okay.
stolen it.
Use
We'll
it.
allow it.
Use it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Of great black artists from the 60s and 70s, you sort of talk about Stevie Wonder and James Brown and Sly Stone and Marvin Gaye and Aretha Franklin and people like that. And there's a kind of a bit more of a social commentary, social justice element to their work. And also, I would put, again, not quite as revered often, but I'd put someone like Gil Scott Heron in with that as well.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
then, and disco is kind of dismissed as a bit fluffy and
Mhm.
not in that kind of sphere, which I do understand to a point. But I have a theory or a belief that I also think disco music is protest music of a form, because it is a
Yeah.
reaction to the world that a lot of artists were living in at the time,
Yeah.
and it's not gritty. It's about having a good time. But if you kind of subscribe to the theory that the best revenge is living well, then I think that's the kind of sort of
I like
protest
that
element of
take.
disco.
It's a shame that like we have to see things about anything that represents joy and inclusion as protest.
Right.
Because I mean, like,
Yes,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Because like it was. I mean, I
Mm,
think also like disco got associated with being a part of like a hedonist movement. I
Mhm.
mean,
mm,
like Studio
Mhm.
54 is just. I mean, granted, everything we've heard about what went on in there. I mean, it was just sex and drugs but like joy. Also a little bit
mm,
dangerous, but like we didn't, they didn't
Yeah.
know. But like the intent wasn't to, despite the fact that Chic weren't allowed in to Studio 54 on
yes,
that one New Year's Eve, the music itself, like once you're in there, it's not about exclusion. It's like, hey, yes,
Yeah.
we want to dance, we want this song to go on forever, so that we
Mhm.
can just keep
yes.
on dancing to it. And that's why I mean a lot of the music, it's just not about the lyrics. It's about the music, and it's about letting it go on for like 7 to 17 to 37 minutes.
But this is probably why one of the primary places that we hear disco nowadays, unless it's going through a little revival in current pop, is at weddings, right?
Mhm.
This is
Mm,
100%. I think that speaks so much to the power of it that like it's my grandmother and my nephew are going to be both of them will dance to a disco song at a wedding. Like
yes.
that is an incredible power that you cannot say for many
Mm,
other genres
yeah.
of
Uh,
music.
and I would say as well that over the last, well, since 15 years, I think the two obvious songs that have been popular enough to now become wedding staples
Mhm.
would be "Get Lucky," which is obviously
Yep.
Nile Rodgers,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and Uptown Funk, which again
Yes.
is disco as well.
Yeah.
Like I know you
Oh
guys
my
adore
gosh, that's
I know
so funny, isn't it?
I know you guys adore Radiohead, but I'm sorry, no one's playing.
Nor should
Radiohead
they.
at,
No, we know. We're not,
Don't play
we're
that
not
at the wedding.
expecting that to happen.
although I did go to a wedding in the last couple of years where the wedding band played Rage Against the Machine, and it did go down a storm. But
No,
I think
I
you
like
have to have a
that.
very particular audience.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that quite a bit. That's
Well, Bulls on Parade. I could
Yeah.
It was Bulls on Parade. Yeah.
Yeah,
It had to be,
if you're
right?
gonna be, if one's gonna play at a wedding, it's gonna be Bulls on Parade. So
Yeah.
I can see grandma dancing to Bulls on Parade though. She really hates
Oh,
Trump,
man.
you know. So
That
like,
was-
you know, she might be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Their Battle of Los Angeles is not a bad album either. Like I was listening to like Guerrilla Radio. Oh, that song
Yeah.
is
It is
so
aged
good.
really, really, really well.
So good.
Yeah.
Mm,
Anyway, okay.
I think. Sorry, I'm surprised. This is not where I expect this conversation to go, and I realize this is my fault. But yeah, I think Rage Against the Machine are unfairly looked upon now because new metal happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good
it-
point. Yeah.
And they were part of that night at Woodstock 99 too. Like they were well, because I mean
Because Fred Durst just wants to be Zach. That's all he wants.
I still
you know?
say the producers of that Woodstock concert, what did you think was going to happen
I know.
when the evening lineup goes Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine, Metallica, like in that order, a bunch of like
a mess.
a bunch of like, you know, like broy guys
Yeah.
who've been drinking too much. Like, of course, they're going to set the place on fire and commit all sorts of assaults. Like, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I'm guessing have you seen the documentary about about it?
I haven't. I need to.
It's fascinating. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's horrifying.
as Michael says, it's just like anyone could have. You know, it was the most obvious thing that was going to happen. It's like it was. It also took place at an airbase or something where there was no shade. Because
No
it was
shade,
just all
and they were all
tarmac.
standing on like pavement instead of on like on grass. So like,
oh my god, I didn't know that part. Jesus.
And there were hints earlier on in the day too. Like anytime a female artist went up there, they were saying like telling them like, you know, show us your, you know, like it was that.
Show us your what, Michael? Show us your what?
Show us your breasts is what they said. That's exactly what they said and the way they said it.
I thought they were saying hits. Was that not what they were saying?
Oh,
I think. See, you've been in Australia too long, Joe. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You're hearing things differently. It's just the accent. Yeah.
It's the accent.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to know though if that you believe that this album, say Chic, is perfect, and so that's let's take it back to the conceit, shall we? Is that we asked you to nominate an album that you believe is perfect based on your standards that you define, and Michael he took note of what the standards were that you presented the last time. So Michael, do you want to remind our listeners and Joe, if necessary? Maybe Joe did this this research himself, but Michael, could you refresh our memory?
See, it's a video podcast, Joe. You shook your head, so you have to like they can see that you said no. To be fair, you did say that it would have been different for each album because you like your cousin gave us a huge list of albums though that first time. So it would probably be different for each album. You did say it could involve like an important or inventive artist like Sophie. It could involve an artist that has staying power like Jenny Lewis, or it could be an artist you just have like a deep emotional connection to, being Pulp. So like it was kind of, I mean, you excused yourself nicely here in the sense that now today you could essentially come up with an entirely different set of standards.
You could come up with a fourth theory.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think there's definitely the staying power element, which I mentioned with Ryla Kiley back then. I think so. Those three records artists that you mentioned are all very different, and then Chic is very different again. And I think maybe what it is with all of those artists and the record we're talking about is it's a perfect album if they achieve everything they set out to do. And I think with say Chic, it is to capture that feeling of joy and transport you to a place, whether it be which weirdly that place could be Studio 54, considering they wrote a song about not being able to get into it, which is the most famous song, which is a bit strange, but
I love it.
And also it kind of encapsulates a genre. Like I know, again, because disco isn't hugely critically acclaimed, I don't think people are talking about classic disco albums. People will talk more about tracks and artists.
Singles,
certainly. But I think that yeah, this just brings everything together perfectly and creates a mood. And I don't know if you're going to ask me about other records that I nominated, but one of them was Hijira by Joni Mitchell,
Mhm.
which again, very very different again.
Very
But
different
I
again.
think,
Yeah.
yeah. But oh, I'm an enigma. It's
You're full of multitudes.
yeah, I contain multitudes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I just yeah. But I think that record, very much like Chic, just really kind of captures a moment, a mood, a sound, a universe, I guess, like I was saying earlier. Like
Yeah.
it's if the best artists do inhabit their own, create and then inhabit their own universe, then the best albums are a perfect distillation of that, and a manifesto, I guess, of what they're trying to do.
It is transportative to like a very specific time in
Yeah,
history. There's
which is
something it's indelible.
Which is interesting, given that the whole premise of this series is albums from before you were born. So we
Yeah.
are talking about a time. This isn't, an indie sleaze record or something where,
Right.
because I think everyone obviously has their thing of the records that came out when you were 16, 17, 18 are just, well,
The
they
best
are very
stuff.
much indelible. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Mhm.
which is obviously an age thing. But yeah, this is transporting you back to a certain time and place that
Yeah.
that we didn't experience.
There's something about this being so specifically joyful that I think probably people get frustrated with because it feels like it's unthinking, maybe. But,
Mm,
like it's not I don't think joy necessarily has to be about abandon everything that's outside. It's saying, no, I'm choosing to be joyful in spite of all that. Like I'm
yes.
acknowledging all that. I'm acknowledging the deterioration of the social fabric of my community. And also, like, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to take this one wild and beautiful life that I have and have a little fun.
And
That's
people
not
need that,
bad.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
I mean, we've we've touched upon a little bit the hellscape that is the world
Yeah.
right now. You can't live your life and do everything as a not as a response to that, but I think it's one of these things that if you just constantly kept up with the news cycle, tried to stay informed about everything,
Mhm.
like that's just a road to terrible mental health, unfortunately, at the moment,
Mhm.
particularly. So yeah, people need escapism. That's very human, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say the disco is responsible for potentially the greatest, most recent moment of joy for our country, which was Alyssa Liu winning the gold medal in figure skating while skating to Donna Summer singing in MacArthur Park.
Yes, yes,
That girl's got
yeah, and
taste. Let me tell you.
yeah, 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 and she's what, like 20 or something,
It's
and
nuts. Yeah. Pink
Yeah.
Pantheress for didn't she do the
Yeah,
Pink
yeah,
Pantheress
she
song for
skated
the
Pink Panther for the exhibition. Yeah, she's
God love
yeah.
her. All right, Joe, we could go very, very far, very, very far afield with you, which is just how we like it. But we could do that, but we have some very serious business to do. Michael, do you smell that? Do you smell that?
Yes, over the screen, I definitely do. I smell I believe
It's
I smell what's approaching, Tyler?
it's dun dun the deliberation
Oh, we
phase.
screwed that up. I'm sorry.
Whatever. It's the deliberation phase.
Deliberation
Yeah,
phase. Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. It's
yeah.
gonna be
There
great.
you go. So now we're gonna deliberate, Joe, based on the case that you have presented for why this album is perfect. Michael, why don't you start?
You entered with a defense of disco from the beginning,
Mhm.
which also too I just want to point out, and you almost said this, but like something that I was going to mention too is the fact that like embracing something like disco, or I mean, I would argue even like pop in general,
Mhm.
feels like something that is difficult, I feel, for a lot of like men to embrace because of that, like maybe some sort of insecurity in their own in their own masculinity, it seems like.
Hmm.
And it's
Mhm.
like, get over your fucking self, right? Like that's what I have to say about that.
Clipped, clipped.
Yeah, because like I mean just the fact that you said like that you entered with joy, which I mean I'm gonna be real. Like I have been lately discussing this with my husband, the fact that we are if we watch news or if we read anything smart, it doesn't give us anything good. Like there's nothing.
Mm.
It just like
Yeah.
sends us, down that rabbit hole. And I gotta say, listening to this album and just sort of like I mentioned before, kind of letting it wash over and just like finding myself kind of moving a little bit while I'm on public transportation, like while
Mhm.
while it's playing. The fact that you entered with joy, I think is, that's all you had to do. All the other smart
Mm.
observations you make, and the fact that you go tangentially the way we like to go.
Yep.
That's just sprinkles on top of the ice cream sundae. So, Tyler, what do you think?
You have a ability to kind of reason with things. This is your analytical Joe showing. Like the kind of pillars that you set up, or they make a lot of sense, and all of the, even though it's meandering, you still have some solid pillars here to your case. And I agree with Michael. It's really just about something that is seen as uncool. I think we need to reclaim the whole concept of that. We need to reclaim the whole concept of what's cool and what's not. It's like what's welcoming people in, what's making people feel good, and like, because when that happens, when it's a good-hearted version of that joy, and it's not joy at somebody else's expense, because that's not even joy. I wouldn't even use that word. That's like, uh, it's a cynical. It's spite. It's what
There's
it is.
probably a German
Mm.
word for it,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure.
spite, and I think there legitimately is. And it's that kind of open-hearted joy, I think, is something that you can do. We should all do without any kind of guilt in some way in our lives. And so, like, I think listening to this kind of record was like, I don't know. It makes you a little hopeful. Makes you a little hopeful that you
Mm.
can it doesn't all have to be dour all the time, and you can still remain alive to the world, because you need to be able to feel like kind of genuine joy like this. So you convinced me with that as well. I always appreciate talking about pulp and the things that I know are very close to you. Your taste is impeccable. So you kind of hit all the boxes for me. So, Michael, why don't you put it to me? I'm feeling like I can make this decision today.
Okay, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, I mean, you've heard his case.
Yes.
We've gone like both a circuitous and quite direct route at times. So
Yep.
like we've dug deep here. I don't know. Like, what do you think? Does this album, say Chic by Chic, a word that they say a few times in the album, does that go to 11? Is it a perfect album? Can it join the pantheon,
You
Tyler?
better believe it. Ding, 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 ding. Pat, 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 pat. Well done, Joe.
Yeah.
Congrats,
2 for
Joe.
2.
Yep.
You are 2 for 2.
Yeah.
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 This has been a real treat. We love having you on. Love hearing
Nice.
what's going on down there. We love this extended podcasting family that we have that we have started to build across the globe. You talked a little bit about the kind of writing work, or kind of how what its pace has been like over the last couple years for you. But we do want to give all of our guests an opportunity to plug something that they want our listeners to know about, whether it's something you're working on, or just some other piece of art or media that you want people to know about. What's coming to mind as the thing you want to share as we
Oh.
go out here?
Maybe this will be the kick that I need to actually restart doing stuff with my Substack, because
Yeah,
I was enjoying that, and with a lot of things, real life gets in the way. So
it always does.
yes, if you what's the URL? I think it's
Yeah,
onelife.substack.com is the URL, I think. But if
we'll
you would be
post
so
it up.
kind to put something, yes, thank you very much, thank you.
Yeah,
And I do occasionally just jump onto Substack to pretend it's Twitter from the early 2000s, 2010, sorry, and just
notes,
kind
right?
of try
Yeah,
and yeah, that's the closest thing to the golden age of Twitter,
right.
I think, because obviously don't go there ever anymore,
Yeah,
because
it's
just
a
don't
cesspool.
do it.
It's awful,
It's awful. Yes.
truly awful. Well,
Mm.
okay. Well, we'll post that. We'll post that link up. And everything I've read of yours, it's all worth reading. People, Joe's
Super kind.
a lovely, smart guy, and you should all listen to and read the shit that he does. Uh, Michael,
When I do it.
which you will. Michael, what should we remind people? Follow us on social media, whichever social media platforms you can
Yeah,
find us on.
sure. Why not? They could
Yeah,
follow us
do it.
there.
You
Yeah.
won't you won't really regret it any more than you will following another
I mean,
podcast.
it's just us posting like every time a new episode comes out, and
Yeah,
usually some sort of video clip from the episode.
It's lightweight.
Although, yeah, it's it's not. We're not requiring that you like give to our GoFundMe
Not
or
yet. Not yet.
um or buy our like I don't know, maybe someday we'll end up having to like work commercials into the podcast,
Maybe.
which some people do better than others, I will
Yeah.
say.
I'm hoping that someday if we do merch, that we can have action figures of both of us. That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay.
Yeah.
What size? We talking like G.I. Joe? We talking like
I'm thinking like G.I.
Barbie
Joe sized. Yeah. No, G.I. Joe size more.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah,
It'd be
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
It'd be a nice little addition to your desk. Or
Yeah, we can do
bobblehead.
that.
Maybe some Michael
I
and
think
Tyler bobbleheads.
I'd rather have
Oh,
bobbleheads
they're
of
good.
us.
Yeah.
Or or whatever they're called, the
And
what
then
are
you can
those?
we can have some special guest one. Joe, you would qualify for a guest, a special a friend of the pod bobblehead at some point. A limited run, maybe.
Limited edition, yes. I was going to say maybe limited edition.
Or
yeah,
with
collectible.
Funkos. Are they called Funkos?
Funko Pops. Funko Pops.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Those freak me out a little bit. I'd rather do like old fashioned bobbleheads.
They had a bunch of Funkos for Twin Peaks characters, which probably really would have freaked you.
That would have really freaked me out. Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm slightly concerned that if they make these, the limited edition one of me is they're just going to basically take the Tyler one and just paint the hair a different color. I'm slightly concerned they might just do that.
Listen, in a globalized manufacturing ecosystem, there can be, there's just going to be some things where the quality slips. Okay, it's part of the deal.
But we also, yours, Joe, will come with like for that week that you enjoyed. There'll be like a little bottle of painkillers and a little like injury thing on your leg, and it comes with like a TV so you can just watch things, and then
yeah. They say they sometimes ask people, after they die, how would you like to be remembered? I think that's me, just
from the best week of your life
on the couch.
I think the Sackler family would love to have a word with you.
And on that note, thanks for listening, everybody. We love you. We love that you listen to our podcast. We really do. So thanks again for listening. We'll see you next week. I guess all that there is left to say is bye.